All right, fight fans, welcome to Caveman Corner with your host, Jeff.
Captain Caveman!
Thanks.
Captain Caveman!
Yeah.
Double Caveman for me today.
Oh, yeah. You drinking a Rockstar and you, not Rockstar, Monster energy drink.
Normally it's Rockstar. Rockstar should sponsor this program, but we're equal opportunity, so if any energy drink would like to sponsor our program, we're more than happy to take you. Even that pussy energy drink, because we're all about any energy drink.
Right.
Maybe I had too many. All right, Ray. Well, we just did a whole podcast without anybody, but Ray has worked his magic drug dealer trade secret. Not really. Really, we just call Brian Moore.
Brian Moore's the man. He's the man behind the scenes here.
Yeah, Brian Moore should be our producer.
Legend of the Cage, Caveman Corner podcast.
Yeah, and we're going to get a poster made up. Or Ray's got a poster, some shit. I don't know. He's showing me a picture. It looked really cool. We're going to hang up in the studio.
Oh, yeah. We're going to take a picture of it and put it in one of the videos, I guess.
Yeah. The Legend of the Cage is now official sponsor.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's get Tom Erickson on the phone. That's our
Big Cat,
super
the Big
special
Cat.
guest.
Oh, yeah.
All right, another Legend of the Cage.
All right, let me call him.
Hey, we're here with Tom Erickson. We got him on the line. Great guest for us to have. We're really proud to have you. How you doing today, Tom?
I'm doing good, sir. How about yourself?
We're doing great. How's the season looking this year?
Well, for my college season, we just finished last weekend. We had one All-American. The first time our program's ever had an All-American. We had an All-American. Ironically enough, it was a little guy, 125 pounds. So, myself, I'm a pretty big guy, and I end up coaching the littlest guy on our team to be an All-American, which is kind of ironic.
That's pretty awesome. You just took over that program 2 years ago, correct?
Yes, I just finished my second year here down in Arkansas, Lyon College, down in Batesville, Arkansas. Pretty exciting. I still keep my hands in the MMA world. I get some calls and people want to come in, stop in, train, etc. So definitely still keep my options open in what I'm doing.
Are you still looking to compete?
No. Look, the right number comes about. They had a young man, a gentleman over there in Risen that was about 400 pounds that was kind of bullying people around a little bit. I'd love to take a shot at him. But, look, man, I'm done. Heck, I can't write, checks. My body is not willing to cash. So I got to watch it. When you ask me a question like that, you kind of sucker me in and say, yeah, I want to fight again. And then,
Ken Shamrock's Ken Shamrock's still fighting. You'll probably beat him up pretty good, or maybe Hoist, another older, legend of the cage. That kind of guy.
If Ken wants to fight, I'll take that fight.
Oh, I would love to see that fight. The Big Cat.
Yeah. We've had a lot of
Ken doesn't want to like it.
We had a lot of guests on, and not one of them is like Ken Shamrock. We had Mark Coleman. We had Dan Severn. We had Fred Eddish. We had a whole bunch of legend guys, and not one of them is like
Mark Hall.
Yeah, Mark Hall. None of them is like Ken Shamrock. Do you have any hate towards Ken Shamrock?
No, not at all. Man, this sport's way too tough, man, to have some hate. And it's really hard. I've met Ken, and Ken and I have kind of bumped heads on some stuff. But when you get to know guys, look, we're all out here trying to make some money. And, back in our day, we were trying to make some money. And one of the ways to do that is, to talk a lot of trash and kind of get under people's skins if you can, et cetera. Ken was good at it. Ken was the predecessor to Conor McGregor. Conor's taken it to 5 different levels now, but Ken talked some trash and got under some people's skin, and it paid off for him. But in the long run, does it really pay off for you when people think you're a dick? Nah, not really.
Since you come from a great wrestling background, can you talk about your rise through wrestling and coming into to become an Olympic alternate?
It's funny. I coach at an NAIA school here at Lyon College in Batesville, Arkansas. And I tell my kids right in the beginning of the year, everyone in that room has probably got better wrestling credentials going into college than I did. And what does that mean? Well, every guy in that room is probably a state place winner, a state qualifier. Ironically enough, I never qualified for the state tournament in high school. I sucked in high school, to be honest with you. I wasn't very good. I just never qualified. Yet I've won the World Cup. I've placed in a World Championships. I've been an alternate and traveled to 3 Olympic Games. I've done some pretty exciting stuff in the sport of wrestling, and lo and behold, I never was even a state qualifier in high school. And my kids look at me and like, yeah, I'm full of BS and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm in 7, 8 different Hall of Fames for different things, but yet never qualified for a state tournament in high school. So in terms of starting late and having that drive and desire, I guess I could be your poster boy for that.
Man, so how did you go from not qualifying for states to winning a junior college national championship?
I was really fortunate to have some really great people in my past. Not to get too philosophical, but I think there's somebody put some really influential people in my path, and all throughout my career, when I was probably needed a little help, needed a little boost, there was somebody that kind of fell in my path and stuff like that, and kind of believed in me as a person, and kind of inspired me and pushed me on to do some really special things. So that, and the Lord smiled on me later in my life.
You didn't develop any more techniques or any kind of new weightlifting? It just you kept your nose on the grindstone and improved on your technique and got better and better? Or did you find new training philosophies?
That's it.
Yeah, man.
I just kept grinding away, gotten better, and just keep improving and keep working. There's a lot to be said about just getting out there and busting your hump and working hard. Get yourself in the gym, find the right people to train with, and just improve. I've had some good fortune, and with some people that I wrestle with, and I went to school at Oklahoma State. John Smith, probably one of the greatest wrestlers we've had. Kendall Cross, Kenny Monday, Olympic gold medalist. Those were in our training room. You either got better or got your ass kicked an awful lot. And I choose to get better.
Awesome. Did you ever meet Mark Coleman as alternate for the Olympics?
Yes, Mark and I are friends. We used to train together. In different training camps, Mark and I trained together often. Not as much physically where we actually wrestled live because he was a weight class below, but being on the teams and stuff like that, and the Olympic teams and national teams, we spent a lot of time in training camps. I can remember a time we were out in Lake Placid at the Olympic Training Center there. I had 2 roommates out there. There was 3 of us in a room. Those 3 people were Mark Coleman, Kevin Randleman, and myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
You room with Kevin Randleman, and then you ended up fighting him. How did that go?
Yeah, that was tough. That was it's kind of a business deal. We would have rather not done it, but at the end of the day, hey, it's okay. You're going to pay us. Let's take care of business.
So there was no animosity between the two of you. It was just taking care of business.
Yeah, making money.
No, not at all. I'll be honest. There was a few phone calls between Mark and myself. Mark kind of managed Kevin a little bit right through that time period, and we had a few phone calls. Mark had called me. I called him. I'm like, yeah, we got to get out of this fight. I'd rather not fight him. I don't want to fight him. Kevin had already been down there and down in Brazil, that is, and fought down there, won a tournament down there. And I think he probably should have had a super fight, but they stuck him back in the tournament. But I think the people down in Brazil knew what they were doing. They stuck Kevin and I in the tournament. That was pretty, I won't say shady, but that's what they do. And, Mark's like, yeah, you might go to another time. I'm like, man, I got to make my bones. I have to go down there. This is early in my career. I got to make my bones and let people know, look, I'm on the scene. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And Kevin kind of already did down there. And, he probably should have fought a super fight, but they left him in the tournament. I wasn't pulling out. Mark wasn't going to pull Kevin out. Kevin, hey, you want to fight? And, sorry. Not much I could say or do about that. But, hey, once you close the gate, anything goes.
Yep.
For sure. Did you were with Raw with Rico Chiapparelli, and they were with the Hammer House? There was no bad blood between the 2 gyms? I mean, there's a lot of really high-level wrestlers. It kind of seems weird that you guys didn't all get together.
The one thing that we had, honestly, that was kind of an ace in the hole for both gyms. I mean, we went about it a different way. Rico Chiapparelli, went about the way we trained over at Raw compared to where the Hammer House trained. But we're all wrestlers, and great thing about it is we all communicated with each other. Look, there was no animosity. I mean, even when we fought, you got to remember, we had Hammer House versus Raw team in the finals of the light heavyweight and the heavyweight tournament down in Brazil, that same event. Dan Henderson, we were on the same team. Dan Henderson fought Eric Smith in the finals from Hammer House, and I fought Kevin Randleman in the finals from Hammer House. So it was Raw versus Hammer House down there in Brazil at the Brazil Open in '97. But even then, there's no animosity. I mean, maybe we joked around, hey, you should train here, you should do this, maybe we should do that. But no, there's just, look, we're competing. And if we had to compete against each other, hey, let the cards fall where they may. Now, in saying that, we felt pretty confident over at the Raw team that we were going to handle our business.
It seemed like you did in that tournament.
Yeah, it worked out well for us.
Definitely.
It was nice.
I just want to go back to amateur wrestling for a couple minutes before we really get into MMA. The sport of amateur wrestling is starting to really fall off, and they're talking about taking out of the Olympics, and we were fighting to get back in the Olympics. Do you have any ideas on how we can grow and improve the atmosphere of amateur wrestling and get more people involved with it?
Well, I mean, we're back in the Olympics. That happened several years ago, where I think a lot of that was due to bad leadership and honestly, candidly, corrupt leadership. And they dropped wrestling from the Olympics temporarily. And in my opinion, I thought it was a money grab. I mean, how else can you explain taking out one of the original Olympic sports and dropping it? I mean, wrestling is the old look in hieroglyphics throughout history. Wrestling is always, involved, and it's one of the oldest and greatest sports. Now, this isn't me being biased. This is a fact. Wrestling was one of the original sports in the Olympics, and then we drop it. I thought we had some mismanagement at the top, and quite frankly, what happened is we had a new organization come in. We used to be governed by an organization called FILA. Well, they wiped all those guys out. They started up a new organization, United World Wrestling, UWW, and started it. And which helped a great deal. And it's structured. We listened. And then what we started doing, we started tinkering with the rules a little bit so we can streamline the wrestling. In the United States, we're actually behind, and we wrestle what we call a folk style, which is more of a controlled type of wrestling, and the world wrestles freestyle. Well, what I think happened a little bit is the rules in freestyle wrestling came back to American style, the folk style a little bit, where a takedown is now worth 2 points. It used to be worth 1. So I think we need to study the rules. Look, this is what the rules are. We're not going to keep changing them every 2 or 3 years, 3-minute matches, 5-minute matches, 6-minute matches. And we're going to wrestle a set of rules, and we're going to do this year in and year out. That way we can grow a fan base. I'm watching something. I'm watching a sport, and I don't know the rules. I'm not going to watch it very long. Or, oh, wait a minute, they changed the rules again. Click, I'm going to change the channel. I'm not going to follow it. It's really hard. We need to develop our characters. We need to develop our athletes in terms of personalities. We need to be doing interviews. We need to be traveling and competing. And, with steady rules and competing, I think those are a couple little simple things that will help grow our fan base.
I think so, too. I mean, I coached wrestling for a long time. I wrestled myself. I was just a junior college wrestler. I wasn't good like you guys, but I wrestled myself. And I've been doing wrestling tournaments. I'm 40 years old now. I've been involved in wrestling since my, early years in life. I've been married for 12 years. I bet you my wife could not tell me the rules of wrestling right now. And I think that's
right.
a big problem of wrestling. And I also think we missed out on Jordan Burroughs, man. He's a phenomenal, very charismatic athlete, and barely anyone knows who he is, and it's a shame.
I got the chance to coach Jordan Burroughs before I took the job here at Lyon College. I used to I was on the United States national staff, and I took him on a trip over to Minsk in Belarus. He gets it. He's phenomenal. He gets in front of those thousands of people. Just recently, about a month ago or so, weeks ago, they went to the World Cup in Iran. They swamped him. They love the guy. We have to do some more things about Jordan and I don't say exploit, but emphasize Jordan. I'll tell you 2 other characters, 2 of our greatest wrestlers ever in the history of our sport in the United States, in my opinion, of course. John Smith and Bruce Baumgartner. Both of them phenomenal. John won 6 consecutive world titles, 2 gold medals in 2 Olympics. Bruce Baumgartner, in how many years? He's won 13 medals, 4 or 5 golds, and so phenomenal athlete. But you know what? They always shied away from being in front of the microphone. I think, if I had to complain about those 2 guys, they never took the sport and tried to advance it a little bit. But in saying that, they were selfish. They were successful that way. But to grow our sport, we need somebody to get in front of the microphone, somebody that's willing to pick it up and talk about the sport, talk about themselves, talk about their competitors, talk about the sport, and let's try to grow the sport. Look, we don't have to antagonize people, but we can just talk about people. You know, we can get in front of that and get people to know us and recognize us. You know, one of the things I do here at Lyon College, I do a lot of community service with our team, and I do that for multiple reasons. One, I want to help out. I want to give back to the community. Two, I want people to know us. I want those people in the community to look, hey, they're Lions wrestling tonight. Those kids came over and helped clean up our yard. Let's go watch them wrestle. You know, I know that one guy. He's that 197-pounder, Troy Mercer. I know him. Let's go watch him wrestle. That's how we build our fan base here at Lyon College. You know, we go out and we plug ourselves into the community. We give you a reason to like us. You know, I don't want to just sit there in the gym and never go out, never talk to anybody and say, well, why aren't the fans come out? Well, they don't come out because they don't know you. They don't care. Why should they care? Give them a reason to.
When I first heard about you, it was back in the old days when it was really hard to watch videos across the seas and everything. But I read all about you. I read about your fights, and you were going to be the next big thing. What happened with your career that you didn't pan out over in America, that you spent most of your time fighting in other countries?
Bad timing. You know, I mean, you talk about my wrestling career. I have pretty decent wrestling credentials. Are they top notch? No, they're not. I'll be honest. You know, I'm not with a Bruce Baumgartner. But you know what? I was in the era where Bruce Baumgartner was in his prime. You know, I was on alternate 3 Olympic teams. And quite candidly, would I have placed in all those Olympics? No, not all of them. Probably the last 2 very possible. I've already won some world medals. Matter of fact, in '96, the top 4 wrestlers in the Olympic Games that medaled, or 3 that medaled and 1 that took 4th, I beat 3 of the 4, including the gold, silver, and the 4th place finisher. The only guy I didn't beat was Bruce Baumgartner. You know, just wrong timing. I mean, just bad timing for me wrestling-wise. I was probably one of the top 5 heavyweights in the world. Well, number 1 or 2 or 3 was Bruce Baumgartner. He was in our country, so I never got a chance to compete and show people I was that good. You know, and then MMA just started coming around. You know, if you want to talk about the history, when MMA started breaking out, jiu-jitsu was a big deal. You know, Gracie Barra jiu-jitsu, big deal. And, you know, they were very protective of it, their clinics and things like that. And, you know, was I the best guy? No, I was a terrible matchup. I was a big guy that was pretty athletic. You know, and I had a little bit of knowledge about the sport, but I was a big athletic guy, and nobody wanted to mess with that. I mean, really? I don't want to, you know, they didn't want to. Look, if you beat me, you didn't do it very good. You just beat me. You had to point me, which nobody wants to see that. If you wanted to straight out fight me, good chance I might catch you, because I'm a big athletic guy, and I hit awfully hard. You can ask people about that. You know, I wasn't a good matchup for people. So, you know, people didn't want to fight me. I'm not going to fight this guy. I'd rather fight somebody else. And, okay, he's maybe not as a big name, but they want to keep their record clean and prove their style's the best. You know, remember back in the day, anybody, you know, jiu-jitsu beats anybody, any size, anybody. You know, so different. You know, people tend to forget. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty confident about this when I say this, but at the time, I had one of the longest fights in MMA. You know, I know Sakuraba and Hoist had that, you know, hour-long fight, but I had a 40-minute fight versus Murillo Bustamante, you know, in the Mars final event. You know, and that was after I had roughly about a 9-10-minute fight, my first one. Second fight was about 3.5 versus Willie Peters, and then I had a 40-minute fight versus Murillo Bustamante. You know, I didn't finish him. Obviously, well, Big Russell didn't finish him. Well, he didn't finish me either. You know, so, I mean, people forget that. Oh, you know, I had some cardio back in the day. When we were fighting, when I was training to fight, I could scrap.
He didn't even want to fight with you in overtime. He was just laying on his back. I did see that one.
You know, it's strategy. It's a strategy. Look, I mean, yeah, that sucked, but it's strategy. You know, I didn't want to fight him either. I didn't want to roll him on the ground. I didn't, you know, I mean, it just, look, I knew that I wasn't going to finish. I was probably more in jeopardy to getting myself in trouble going down on the ground with him. And I wanted to strike and end it, you know, maybe get some takedowns and end it and things like that. You know, and he knew he's on the ground. But I'll tell you what, though, out of all my fights, that was probably the most eye-opening learning experience I've ever had in all my fights. He had a tremendous guard. I mean, he probably should have caught me a couple times, but just, you know, I got a chance to wiggle out of it, anticipate, feel, move around, and stuff like that. You know, I probably learned the most in that fight compared to any fight I've had.
He busted his face up.
If they scored that one, I
Yeah.
think you would win that one too. If they scored it with today's judging, it's kind of weird that they had a tournament and they didn't have a winner of the tournament.
Right. I mean, he busted his face
That
up.
was a big mistake. Yeah, that was, like in hindsight now, it's easy to say big mistake. Well, what you do is you have a tournament winner, you bring him back, he fights a super fight versus one of the other super fight guys. Quite candidly, that was kind of a rigged deck. I know the promoter really well, guy named Thomas Huggins. He was a matchmaker on that. They had the Brazilians. You got to remember what happened in that night. You had Mario Sperry Renzo Gracie upkicked Oleg Taktarov, knocked him out.
Oh yeah.
Roberto Travin won that night, and Mario Sperry won that night. So they had 3 super fights with the Brazilians, and then they had Brazilians in the tournament. Marilla was the 4th one from the Gracie Bar gym that was in that tournament. So they kind of cleaned house a little bit, and I was the wild card that screwed them all up. But in a perfect world, you should have had me, the tournament winner, if you're going to have another event, fight the super fight next, and et cetera. It's kind of what they used to do with Abu Dhabi.
Right, for sure. Did you ever study jiu-jitsu? I mean, Bustamante and Sperry made those tapes. I got those right around that time, too. I started them in my VHS, and that's how I started learning jiu-jitsu from Sperry and Bustamante. I don't know. Did you guys watch those videos when you were training for these guys, or did that not really happen at that time yet?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to, guys. I'd consider myself a world-class athlete, and that's what you do. I mean, that was one of the biggest assets that we had as wrestlers, the elite level or world-class level wrestlers. We're trained. We're going to cross-train. We're going to do our homework. We're going to study. And I'll tell you what, Rico Chiapparelli did a phenomenal job in trying to prepare us. Rico was pretty good friends with Renzo, and that was a time when they didn't let him cross-train very much. And they kind of protected the jiu-jitsu brand, and they didn't want the secret to be out or anything like that. So it was really hard to get somebody who was really good in jiu-jitsu. So a lot of times when you got in there, you rolled around with some people that were pretty good at it, but when you get in there with somebody that's got a really good guard, like Murillo had a really good guard, and some of those other guys I've rolled around with, Sperry, I've rolled around with some of those guys, and you're like, wow, they move so well down there, and they're so comfortable down there in the bottom like that, in guard. It's pretty impressive.
There's a big difference between a black belt and a world-class competitor black belt, and Bustamante's world-class.
Oh, absolutely.
So then you went and you did Contenders. How was that? The Contender show?
That was kind of interesting. When I end up rolling around with Toyoshi Kasaka.
Yeah, I wasn't going to try and say his name.
And you know what? He had a pretty good career. He's beaten a lot of people, and then I think it was John Peretti put that event together, and we had a pretty star-studded cast in that. We had Dennis Hall was a Olympic gold medalist, world champion. Kenny Monday was in there.
Yeah, he had a bad
Kevin
night.
Jackson, Townsend Saunders, world medalist. I mean, so we had some pretty good guys in there. But then again, on the other side, you had Frank Shamrock, Matt Hume, John Roque, Rock. I screw his name up, but they had some pretty badass dudes in there, and I fought Kasaka in there, and he actually caught me like in a heel hook. And, and I had shoes on, which you shouldn't have done. That's like, here, please, break my ankle. Please try it type of thing. And so he kind of catches me in like a heel hook, an ankle lock. And the thing that people don't know about that, he caught me. I was dead to rights in that. But one of the things people don't know is I've broken that ankle twice. And I was jacked up. So for you to really hurt me in there, you really have to break it again and do some real damage to it. And if you ever watch the fight, you look at him, I shake my head, I'm fine. He's cranking away on the ankle. I'm fine. And I just able to kind of shrimp around the corner and kind of went and got like side, into the half mount and stuff like that. I scrambled out of the position. People like, oh, that was great. I remember it wasn't John McCarthy or somebody official. They're looking at me like, I'm going to tap. I'm like, no, I'm fine. He can break it. I don't care. I remember at the party in the bar, we were in a bar or something like that. Man, he had that time. I go, yeah, he could have broke it. It wouldn't have mattered to me. I'd have kept going.
That's awesome. That's that wrestling
it
mentality.
Was a bad ankle anyway.
Yeah, wrestlers are the toughest guys.
Can you talk about Pride?
Right, go ahead.
Can you talk about Pride a little bit? Then you finally signed with Pride. You fought Gary Goodridge. We're trying to get Gary Goodridge on the show. He's having some health problems now with his memory and stuff. How was that fight?
That was good. I mean, I should have been in Pride earlier. I went over and I fought an event, in a Shudo event versus Ed DeChrist. And I know we were, the Chiparellis and stuff like that, the Rocks, and we were trying to set up something with me to fight Marco Huas, which at the time would have been an awesome fight for us. And I don't know, I don't know if they wanted the fight as much or we wanted to. I mean, I think somehow or other negotiations kind of fell through and the fight didn't happen. Which, in hindsight, I wish I would have loved it because, Marco was tough as hell. And, but he didn't fight off his back the whole fight, and that would not have been well for him. Regardless of how good I was, Marco, he's tough as hell, man. He strikes. He's got some great kicks. He does a phenomenal job there. I don't know how his jiu-jitsu is. He might have been a black belt at the time, whatever, but I guarantee he'd have been on his back and fighting off the back and having a 285-pound man angry trying to wail on him, so he'd have taken some damage in my opinion. I'm sure he probably thinks different. Good for him. But that fight didn't go through, and then it took me seven different Pride events, and finally I got in there at Pride 8 and fought Gary. The crazy thing about that fight with Gary is we had a show, Raw team. We went to Canada for an IFC fight or some fight like that. We had Vladimir Madashenko, the janitor, and he fought Vernon Tiger White. And I was up there supporting Vladdy, and we had somebody else. I think we had a female fighter too as well at the time. And two things happened. One, I met Ken Shamrock, and Shamrock kind of acted like a dick. He kind of talked it up. And two, I met Gary Goodrich, and Gary Goodrich kind of acted like a hard ass too, And it was funny because a month later, I ended up fighting Gary. And it's just like it was crazy, and it's just like it was really prophetic, and Gary, he kind of eyed me up, I eyed him up and stuff like that, and and Ken, look, that started I think the promotion tried to set it off like I was talking smack to him, and so Ken played it up that way. I thought, hey, dude, just relax. I thought it was kind of funny. And I don't know if he was serious or not, but I was like, hey, come on, man, whatever, dude, we're no cameras around, let's just talk, we're good. But yeah, we and I fought Gary, and I kind of watched some tape of Gary. I'm like, yeah, this is a tough dude, I don't want to necessarily stand with him. He bangs a little bit, so I kind of bum rushed him. I started slugging it out with him, caught a little collar tie, and just started wailing on him, and then took him to the ground and just showed how bad I was on the ground. I wasn't a finisher, but definitely gave him some punishment.
Yeah, I never saw nobody.
We became good friends. Sorry.
I never saw nobody took care of Gary Goodrich like that. And I think that was my first. That's my first time watching you fight. I believe that fight right there. You was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a big guy, I move pretty well. I close the distance. For the skill set I was lacking at the time, and I had other assets. I close the distance. I'm a big guy. I mean, it's like I guess you could compare it to a train, Boy, that train doesn't look like it's moving very quick. Next thing you know, it's on top of you. Then when it hits you really hard. And it's like, that's probably more or less what I was like, I mean, I didn't necessarily have the great skill set, and I wasn't blinding fast, but I was pretty quick for my size to have, 6 feet 5 inches, 285, 300 pounds coming at you that quick is it kind of throws you off a little bit.
How did you get the nickname Big Cat?
My very first event, that was crazy. It was the Mars event, when I fought, ended up fighting Murillo. We were literally, God, I can't remember. We're in a restaurant after weigh-ins, we're eating, and we're like, man, you gotta have a nickname. You gotta have a nickname. I'm like, I don't know, I could care less. I don't know. And so I was like, man, you move so well. You move like a cat, and they should call you Panther or Tiger or something like that. I'm like, I don't know. Man, you're so damn bad. And we just kept going back and forth, and they were throwing stuff out. I'm like, I don't want to be called a guy named Kenny Monday. They called him the Puma. He's black, he's and stuff, and moved around really well. And there's different people that had the names, Vernon, Tiger White, everybody. I'm like, they're like, man, but you just move so well, man. You move like a cat. I'm like, oh, shoot. And somehow or other, it just got dropped out, Big Cat. I'm big and I move like a cat. I move really well. Boom, and that stuck.
I thought you were just about to say we were at the Chinese restaurant, so that's where I came up with Big Cat. We were just eating it, and they're like, oh, that's a big serving. You're the Big Cat.
Yeah, I wish. And then, and then halfway, a couple fights into my Pride career, I go ahead and change my walkout. My the first walkout music was Nazareth, Hair of the Dog by Nazareth. I liked it. And then, talking to Gary, they wanted to make it something sarcastic and stuff like that. So what we do, I'm the Big Cat. What we do, we change it by the Baja Men. Who let the dogs out by the Baja Men?
That's my
son.
son.
Wanted to make it.
I was gonna say that's my son's favorite song when he was a little kid. He used to have a little doll sing that.
You make it sarcastic, who let the dogs out? I'm the Big Cat, and I got the who let the dogs out. So that kind of stuck, and I used that as my walkout music for the whole remainder of my career.
That's pretty good. Then you run into Heath Herring and you tasted defeat for the first time. How was that to take?
Hey, he got me. I panicked. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I had a full camp or not, but took him down easy, and I'm grounding, pounding him, and I'm like, they're like, hey, just put him on his back, keep putting him on his back, ground and pound. And I think they wanted to stand up fight. He started training and was pretty exclusively training with Golden Glory, which is some striking. And in Japan, they want to see some striking. They wanted to see some people bang. They don't want to just see a big guy maul a guy like a bear on the ground. And they stood him up. And like I said, I panicked a little bit. I said, man, I'm going to take him down again. I don't want to sit there and trade with the guy. I don't know. I shouldn't trade with the guy. So I go ahead and take a shot. He throws a kick right at the same time I take a shot. And I really shoot right into his shin bone, bang my bell, and he took my back. Great job on his part. If I had to fight that fight again, you know what? He bangs a little bit. I'd love to stand with him. But, at the time, early didn't realize I should do that, et cetera. And, he did a great job, if I get that fight again, and ironically enough, one of my students fought Heath. Heath's first fight in the UFC, he fought one of my former students. Oh my gosh. Oh man, it's terrible. Now all of a sudden my mind just went back. Jake O'Brien.
Oh.
Heath's first fight in the UFC fought Jake O'Brien.
Okay,
I coached Jake O'Brien at Purdue University.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then Jake just took him down and controlled him. They didn't do any stand-ups. Jake just took him down and controlled him. Drove Heath nuts. Heath was all pissed off. They wouldn't stand him up, and he couldn't strike. And every time they did, Jake would just take him down and control him. Here I am, a teacher. I get my butt whooped by Heath, and then one of my students goes out and fights him, and my student, I don't want to say kicks his butt, but my student beats him.
Speaking of your students, do you coach John Fitch? Or did you coach John Fitch?
Yes, I did. John wrestled for us when was wrestling on the team there. And ironically enough, you talked about Coleman, you talk about Gary Goodrich. Well, being at a Big Ten school, a Division I Big Ten school, we have a lot of perks about that job. We have our own wrestling room, we have our own weight room, we have training staff, we have cardio. I mean, it's a pretty neat setup when you go to a Division I school, especially one in the Big Ten. So what would happen? Those guys would come over and train often. So I'd go through a practice, and after practice, room being empty, we'd go ahead and Coleman would be over here. I used to have Wes Sims come in, Goodrich would come in, and Fitch would see us train. Fitch would want to stay around and train with us a little bit. And not that I kind of coached him up, but I think he got the itch to start training. John was a very good wrestler, not great, but a very good college wrestler. Had a really good career for us at Purdue, but he's just a hard-nosed kid that just liked to be in the gym and grind, and you know what? That's his style. Now, I mean, that's probably one of the reasons they booted him out of the UFC. He's a grinder. He doesn't talk a lot of trash. He's not flashy. He's going to go out there and he's going to grind with you. Whoop his butt, that's fine, but you're going to know that you were in a fight with him because he's going to bring it and he's going to come and grind you. And that's not what the UFC. That doesn't draw fans. That may win you fights, but it doesn't draw fans.
How do you feel about the UFC being more almost showmanship oriented? Because John Fitch was a great fighter. He had that one loss, and they pretty much ran him out of the UFC just because he fights that style. Do you think that it should be more athletic sport, or do you think it's more almost like WWE production value and who sells a sport kind of thing? How do you think it should be run as a sport itself, MMA?
I think the UFC got themselves in trouble when they with Conor. I like Conor, man. He can fight. He's good, but he's not about fighting. He's about self-promotion, which you have to be to a certain extent. And then all the power to him. He's making great money. But, you know, what he's doing is kind of ruining for the other people because, you know what, not everybody can do that. So he gets the biggest piece of the pie and everybody else fights for the little bit. But, yeah, I'm a purist. You know, I came from a wrestling background. You know what? You got a bracket, you go through and you wrestle you wrestle the matches in the bracket, you compete, you're respectful, you show your opponent respect, you go out there and you scrap, and you're done, you're done. Now, if he does something a little dirty, maybe you have words after, but you take care of your business. But this is sports entertainment, so you got to have a little showmanship. But you know what? At the end of the day, you're still out there competing. You're still out there. You're going to slug it out. You can hate the guy, everything, you know. But after it's over, you shake his hand, man. That's a good fight, dude. You got me today. Let's go again. You know, whatever. But what happened? And I think the UFC has kind of got caught into the gimmicky thing. You know, I mean, Ronda could fight as well. She was tough, an elite level athlete. They bought into her. They sold people a bill of goods with Ronda. Now she got exposed. You know, Conor got exposed a little bit, but he still talks some trash. I mean, look at it. I mean, they try to bring Sage Northcutt in there. He couldn't fight. Man, he looked great in front of a mirror, but he can't fight.
CM Punk. CM Punk's another
CM
one.
Punk, come on, man.
Hey, Big Cat, what you think about Brock Lesnar?
Good for Brock. He's a wrestler, and good for him. Can he fight? No. but he's a big. He was me. Look. I'll be honest with you. He was me, and he was better at it. I'm not jealous. Good for him. I think it's great. Great for him. But he was a big guy that could get in there and fight. You know, they handpicked his fight. He's fighting for the title right off the bat within one or two fights. Good for him. He's got a great look. He does a good job. You know, an amateur wrestler, national champion for the University of Minnesota. Man, I love it when wrestlers get a chance to make some money in any kind of sport because I know what the sacrifices that we put in, and Brock is paying off. Now, I'd fight Brock tomorrow if you could set up a fight. I'd love my chance for it.
Oh, okay.
You know,
well,
it's not animosity either. I'm not mad at him. I don't, you know, whatever. And you know what? I guarantee you ask Brock and tell him, he goes, "Who the hell is Tom Erickson? Who cares?" That's fine too. I don't care. But I would take that fight. I'd sign on the dotted line right now to take that fight.
I would pay $200 to see that fight.
I won't pay that much.
Give you the $200, you could set it up. It's matchups. Brock was me, and he did a better job at it. Like I say, I'll be honest with you. He did a better job. He capitalized on it. Great for him. He looks awesome. I don't look that good. Put me in some trunks, and I don't look like him, man. He's chiseled up. He looks good. Good for him, and I applaud him. And he's got a great college wrestling career. The one thing I will say, jumping a negative towards that is, you know, everybody said, you know, he's this great wrestler. He was a very good college wrestler, national champion. Awesome. That was great. But he never tried to step on the senior level, the Olympic level of wrestling. He could say whatever he wants, and he's got credentials that would make me look stupid. And I'll give you all that. But he never stepped in the U.S. Open. He never tried it. And I guarantee you, he'd have got his ass whooped. He's a north-south wrestler. He's huge, but he comes north-south. He doesn't move really well. He moves well for his big guy. But look, in the big leagues of wrestling, you got Bruce Baumgartner, myself, Tully Thompson, Kerry McCoy, Stephen Neal. You know, these guys are all in the Hall of Fame. He never took in that level of wrestling. But what he did do is he capitalized on it. He's in the WWE. You know what? Dana paid him a bunch of money. You know what? He failed his drug test. He took his money and ran. Good for him. Great. But that's another one. I'd love to fight that guy. Like I say, no animosity, but just the fact. Let's find out. I'd love to have wrestled him.
I got two quick questions about Brock Lesnar. Number one, you said he had a great look. Do you think that sword looks like a penis on his chest? That tattoo, is that what you're talking about? I don't know. Were you poking a little fun at him, or were you being serious?
No. I mean, look, he does have a good look. I mean, he's all jacked up. I don't know. I mean, he's failed some drug tests. You know, I've never failed a drug test, so that's fine. Maybe it was cool when he put it on there, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, with the handles and stuff, it just looks a little different. You know, I don't know. I mean, that's his personal preference. I'm not going to go off on him for some of his body art. I mean, I'm sure people can say I look jacked up. Too good for them. But, you know, what's your other question?
My other question is, can you just tell my fans the difference in levels of wrestling? I mean, when people say national champion, they equate it with being as good as Olympic champion. There's a huge difference in the step of levels of wrestling. Can you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah, you and Joe, man. Joe, I had a conversation with Joe Rogan. I'd love to go on talk to him again about it. You listen to the fights. Oh, he's got this world-class wrestler. He's a world-class wrestler. No, he's not. That's like saying a brown belt. That's a black belt. He's got a black belt. No, he's not. People who are belted take serious offense to being, talked about. And the same thing about wrestling. There's a difference. There's elite level wrestling, and then there's world-class wrestling. A world-class wrestler is a guy like Daniel Cormier. He was on an Olympic team. He earned the right to be on an Olympic team. He's competed at a world level and had success there. That's called world-class. Elite level, that's competing on a collegiate level and having success. That's elite level wrestling. World class is when you compete against somebody else around the world in tournaments. I've got over 28 international tournament wins to my tournament wins, not just participated in. I would consider myself a world-class wrestler. Brock Lesnar is the elite level wrestler. You look at the different people that fight. Yeah, they were a good college wrestler. John Jones was an elite level wrestler. He was not a world-class wrestler. John Jones is phenomenal. He's at one given time, I'd say he was probably the best fighter pound for pound that we had. He's got his other issues, but he's an elite level wrestler that became a world-class fighter because he took his wrestling and his boxing and his jiu-jitsu and he took it to another level where you could be a world-class fighter. But in terms of wrestling, he had elite level fighting skills, not world-class wrestling skills. There's a big difference.
Were you surprised that he was?
By the way, thank you for the education. I didn't know that the levels, different levels. Thank you.
I got to educate my co-host. Were you surprised that John Jones was able to take DC down?
No. You know what? And the guy who says it the best, Johnny Hendricks. This is when Johnny kind of was in doing his thing, and he goes, "Look, this isn't wrestling. This is fighting in wrestling. There's a difference. Look, Mike Tyson, you bring all kinds of quotes in there. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. The plans go out the window, and you fight. Well, it's the same thing. Right? Look, if they got into a wrestling match, Daniel Cormier kicks his ass. I believe it. I 100% wholeheartedly believe it. A wrestling match, does John Jones take him down? I don't think so. The wrestling match, Daniel Cormier kicks John Jones' butt. But you know what? It's not a wrestling match. It's a fight. They throw punches. There's submissions involved. So when you're just sitting there relying on, well, he took down a world-class wrestler. Well, yeah, I'll give him a little bit of props for it, but in the same token, it's a fight. It's not a wrestling match. So don't get hung up on the fact that he took him down in a fight. Look, I said, you want to go in a wrestling match? I bet you he doesn't take him down. Johnny used to say the same thing. He said, look, man, he was a national champion. He was an elite-level wrestler. Look, if you want to wrestle me, let's wrestle. I don't think you'll take me down.
He was just a
JUCO
champion.
I know you're going to punch me in the face. You may get one.
John Jones was just a JUCO champion, right? He wasn't a Division I champion, was he?
No. He was
just
he's a national champion at Iowa Central, I think.
Yeah. And then he also...
Ironically, you know who else wrestled at Iowa Central?
Who's that?
Daniel Cormier.
Ah! No way. That's crazy.
I believe he did.
Wow.
Because you know what? When I was at Purdue, I recruited Daniel Cormier. He came on campus for a visit.
Did you see the John Jones? I'm sorry. Did you see the John Jones Dan Henderson grappling match?
No, I didn't.
He took Dan Henderson down too with an arm drag. It was sick. His takedowns are getting pretty good. Just saying.
Yeah. No doubt. Look, John can wrestle. He's a phenomenal athlete, man. Dude, that guy was just nasty. If he would have had his head on straight, he could have been, somewhere in the stratosphere of Connor. But he got some demons he couldn't handle.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It's funny, man. This is honestly where you catch me in what I said about world class and elite level wrestler. And I'm going to be doing I'm going to be on a panel at the NCAA Division I Wrestling Championship this coming weekend on Saturday, and I'm going to be on there with a guy named Matt Linland, and there's somebody else I'll be on there with, and we're going to talk about college wrestling and MMA and the crossover and things like that. Well, when you talk about Dan Henderson was a world-class wrestler, but in Greco. And John Jones was an elite-level wrestler in just folk style. So, when you kind of held me down in world classes, you compete, et cetera, on a world-class level. Dan Henderson was an Olympian. Dan Henderson competed internationally and did great. But he did it in Greco. And Greco is all upper body.
Can't touch the legs.
And there was a point where Dan couldn't defend legs if you paid him. And, obviously, he wrestled collegiately at Arizona State. I think he was a low All-American. He never was a national champion. So it's funny because Dan was not an elite-level college wrestler. He was a very good college wrestler and then became a world-class Greco-Roman athlete, which is, it's kind of contradicting, and it's kind of hard for your coach, probably like, what's he saying? That does not make sense. Well, Greco's all upper body. There's no leg attacks involved in it at all. Matter of fact, you get penalized for attacking the legs. And Dan was phenomenal at that. And saying that, I think Greco-Roman is probably one of the better platforms to wrestle in terms of wrestling to get into MMA. And I got stats to back that up, and since the two of our greatest wrestlers that have transitioned over to MMA were Greco-Roman wrestlers, Randy Couture and Dan Henderson.
Me and my co-host were just talking about this earlier, right before we had you on, when we knew we were going to have you on. I was trying to educate him real quick on wrestling. And I always contended that in the old days of MMA, back before everyone was really skilled and they knew how, because now everyone can wrestle. But back then, I always thought freestyle was the best sport to be in because it was so emphasized on takedowns, on the leg attacks and everything. And guys weren't able to sprawl back then. But we were just talking like how Greco nowadays, everyone can wrestle, so you got to be able to fight from the clinch. You got to be able to stop the judo guys that are going to try and toss you in your head. And we just had this
you got to learn to fight off that cage. You got to learn how to fight off that cage, man. Look, you name a fight you can't name a fight that doesn't eventually go in the cage. Against your back's against the cage, and how you got to wrestle off the cage. You need to be a well-rounded wrestler, but you got to be able to pummel. Randy gets nasty with those little shoulder punches that he throws in there. Cain Velasquez, elite level wrestler, had a little cup of coffee in the world class type of stuff, but never really jumped in there. Gosh, I got a great story about when I worked out with Cain one time. We're going out there with a training camp, and I wanted to wrestle. I was retired at that time in terms of my international wrestling, but we were out there training. I went to a training camp, and I wanted to wrestle. There was one guy, a gentleman named Kerry McCoy was the number one guy. Tully Thompson was out there. They had another guy named Cain was out there, kind of working his way up to try to be in that mix of things, and he wanted to wrestle. Well, I wanted to wrestle one of the better guys, Tully or Kerry McCoy, and they're like, oh, they don't want any part of me. I'm done, blah, blah, blah. So Cain, like, yeah, let's wrestle. So we had a 20-minute go. We ended up having a hard live go for 20 minutes. And they coaches threw me, Cain, me and Cain together, so I'm wrestling with Cain. And I'm kicking his butt. I'm taking him down. I'm turning him freestyle-wise. I was really good on top. I'd get a takedown. He'd try to take me down. I'd spin behind, boom, take him down, turn him. Well, we go in about 5-7 minutes. Well, I haven't been training. Well, I'm kind of kicking Cain's butt, and all of a sudden, I'm getting tired. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting tired. And we're not even halfway through this going. I'm getting tired. I'm like, oh crap, I'm in trouble. So now Cain starts taking me down. He can't turn me. So I'm thinking to myself, man, all right, let him take me down. Let him get tired taking me down. So, and I rest, I'm sitting there getting taken down for about 2-3 minutes and trying to catch my breath a little bit. So I come back and start taking him down and turning him, etc. And then, oh, crud, it's only 2 minutes, and I run out of gas. He starts whooping my butt again. But, man, I knew back then that dude has a gas tank. I mean, he's got like an extra lung, like he parks on the side of the mat. When he starts getting tired, he taps into that and keeps going. He's incredible.
I wish I had that gas tank.
Yeah, he's just nasty.
Me and Ray rolled about 2 minutes yesterday, and he was exhausted. And he's 100 pounds bigger than me.
Yeah. I used to, when we trained with Gary Goodrich, he just hated it. And Gary's like, well, let's box. I could get you tired that way. And he could, if I were just sitting there striking these arms. But just wrestling-wise, I mean, just a position-wise. And that's what made me a nightmare. I was like a wet rag, like a wet towel on top of you. I'm gonna make you care. I'm gonna make you work. You're gonna fight every second that I touch you. I'm not, just gonna roll with you. And I trap your hips. I don't let you move around. I'm just gonna be weighted on you. You know, so I was just a phenomenal, like on top, and learned to cut angles on them. The worst people I used to fight were people that had really active guards, so I couldn't control them. You know, Murillo was a good one. You know, when I fought Fabricio had a really active guard, and he had a really great size to him. You know, it just kind of got me tired from on top. I'm in guard. He's making me work. That was crazy.
That's why he became the champ. He's probably the best heavyweight jiu-jitsu practitioner I've ever seen. I think he's better than Nogueira, to be honest with you. I don't know how you feel,
Yes.
but I think he's better than Nogueira.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, and then he learned to strike a little bit, and he got really nasty.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about Rulon Gardner? He's probably the most famous wrestler turned MMA fighter.
Pride, yeah.
Right? Yeah, and he was on Biggest Loser. That's what made him famous.
I just talked to Rulon last week. I just saw him. He's huge. I mean, Rulon's big. He's a very good friend of mine. Rulon is a Mormon. Rulon couldn't stand fighting. Just did not like it. Not his cup of tea. You know, there's some people that, you know what, they'll get it. Coleman was out of all the guys we had that fight wrestler-wise, Mark Coleman loved the fight. That was perfect for Coleman. They took headbutts out and killed him, but he just loved the fight. He had, you know, loved Mark to death. He probably had anger issues, but he just loved the fight. Fighting was right up his alley.
When we had him on, it sounded like he needed a hug. We had him on the show. He was maybe been a little intoxicated, and it sounded like he needed a hug. So, and we got him in trouble with his girl.
Oh no!
We had to talk to her too.
Man, no,
that's a good one. You should listen to that one.
Not good. I have to look that up.
For sure. We're on YouTube. Make sure you check it out.
What you think about Mark Kerr? Was he a great wrestler?
Yes, he was a very good wrestler. He was world class. He was elite level world class. You know, Mark Kerr beat Randy Couture in the NCAA finals. They had a wrestling match in the NCAA Division I finals. Kerr was wrestling for Syracuse, and Randy was wrestling for Oklahoma State. I was actually helping coach Randy at the time. I was one of the coaches on staff at Oklahoma State.
Oh, wow.
And Randy came from the Army, so he was older, et cetera. And then Mark beat him in a match. And then, you know, Randy had a phenomenal international career. Mark had a international career, too, where he made a world team. I'm not sure if he beat Coleman on the way, but he had made a world team. So Mark had world-class wrestling. Mark was, you know, was a specimen. He was exactly his name. He was a specimen. He had great genetics. He also helped himself out in the genetic aspect of it. You know, he kind of did some needlework to help himself out. But, you know, he got it. I think fighting-wise, Mark was not your typical – Mark wasn't Mark Coleman, I'll say that much. Mark did not like to fight. Mark Coleman loved to fight. Mark Kerr did not like to fight. Good at it. He was good at it because he was a physical specimen, very strong, very athletic, but he didn't, you know, hurting people wasn't necessarily his thing. Abu Dhabi was his thing. You know, he can grapple and hang out and just, you know, position you and beat you and wrestle you. But, you know, in terms of sitting there and trying to mash a guy's face in, that wasn't Kerr. But he was very good. Don't get me wrong. He was very good. He was a world-class wrestling athlete. Elite champion, you know, I mean, whatever. But, you know, you look at it, I mean, you know, you look at some of my fights, and you know what? Randleman teed off on me. Pantera Negra hit me pretty solid. You know, I've taken some shots in my career, and my stupid self, I just kept walking. I'm like, come here, you hit me? I want to hit you back. I was stupid, but, you know, Mark Kerr didn't get hit well. You know, he didn't like getting hit. And the one time when he got hit clean, the one person that hit him clean, Igor Vovchanchyn. And look what happened in that fight.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit clean by that guy.
Hey, did Mark Kerr, it was rumors that Mark Kerr didn't want to fight you in the Grand Prix, 2000 Grand Prix fights.
Kerr and Coleman, I think. I don't know, man. That's rumors. I don't know. People say it. Like I said, was I the best guy? No, but I was a nasty matchup. Your biggest asset's wrestling. And my biggest asset's wrestling. When all else is equal, size matters, and I was bigger. And I moved pretty well for, you know, my size as well, and I hit pretty heavy. So, does it make sense? Yeah, it could. I don't know, man. Until you show me that, and you know, for a fact, it's just a rumor. It's kind of cool. Thank you for saying it, but I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and said they probably would have rather fought somebody else than me.
It's on the internet. It's got to be true. It's on the internet. It's got to be true.
That's from Wikipedia. Everybody put anything in there.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you had to ask me, that Grand Prix was after I fought Randleman, and Randleman ended up being the UFC heavyweight champ, and what I did to Randleman in terms of size matters, maybe that had some influence. I don't know. I like my chances, dude. I mean, shoot.
Oh yeah, I like your chances too.
I mean, Coleman won the whole thing, and you're bigger. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't mean to like rub salt in the wound, but
no, it's all good. And man, those guys had a look about them. I didn't have a look. Look, they had a look. Look at it. I mean, Coleman looked jacked. I mean, I didn't look jacked. I was a big guy. You know what? The guy, if you want to tell me what, look at Fedor. I mean, Emelianenko. I mean, he wasn't jacked, but he just kicked everybody's ass. He was phenomenal. But I didn't have that look. I didn't fit their script.
He had the Russian thing.
I was a big guy.
He still had a shtick. He had the Russian thing. You know, Russians are so tough, and he talked like this, and you could not beat him. But like you were just you're the John Fitcher your age. That's so crazy that you and John Fitcher like work together because you had the exact same career problem.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good analogy. I mean, I thought I probably hit heavier than Fitch. I was stupider than Fitch. I came there to fight. Right. You know, I you know what, Gary Goodrich taught me the best lesson in the world in terms of fighting, about talking a little trash. I didn't like talking trash. I was too much a wrestler. I respect everybody, man. Look, we're out there fighting. But he said one thing that has hung with me my entire, fighting career. Look, anything after 1 round is unpaid overtime. Why do I need to fight more fights? Hey, let's get in there. Let's get it on. Let's fight. Let's make some people excited. Like I say, anything over 1 round is unpaid overtime, and I'm not that generous.
I like that a lot. We cut you off a little bit on Rulon. Can you just give an update on how he's doing?
Rulon's doing well for Rulon. I mean, he's big. I mean, he's probably over 400. I mean, he's a big gentleman right now. And he's on the speaking tour. You know what? He's got a great story. I mean, this is a guy from Afton, Wyoming. A lot of heartbreak. He ends up beating the monster, Alexander Karelin, which is incredible. Man, he shocked the world. People think about Rulon. People don't know. He came back the next year in a non-Olympic year and won the world championships. So he proved it wasn't just a fluke, that he was a one-time thing. And then he came back, 8 years later, made the Olympic team, or 4 years later, and won a bronze medal. So he wasn't a flash in the pan. Rulon could wrestle. He wrestled Greco, and he was very good at it. But, Rulon's got a huge heart, man. He's just the nicest guy. And, he always gives me crap about it. Like, I just saw him at the NAI National Tournament. He was a guest speaker. And, my team doesn't know a whole lot about me a little bit. They know I'm their coach, et cetera. But I end up talking to him. He goes, Rulon. So Rulon starts talking about me in his speech. He's talking to the whole group of wrestlers and the people. And he starts mentioning our matches and how I used to punch him here and I do that here. And I'm like, yeah, he doesn't tell you that he did the same to me, but we definitely have a lot of respect, mutual respect. We wrestle the same club, the Sunkiss Kids. But in terms of mean, I don't want to say tough because he's tough, but mean guy punching, no, that's not Rulon. Not one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. Nicest guy.
That's awesome that he was able to get on the show and get some fame too. The Biggest Loser show. A lot of my fans are going to know him just from that more than wrestling or anything else. So I just wanted to mention his name in there too a little bit.
I'll tell you, Rulon was really smart too. And then that show, he kind of played that show until he kind of got himself in trouble. Talking about rumors and stuff like that. One of the rumors that he had is Rulon can cut. He's a wrestler. Wrestlers cut weight. You want to lose weight. So Rulon was in that show to win. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, everybody's – in terms of cutting the weight and getting the weight off, that would have been a good byproduct of it. But Rulon was in the show to win some money. And, he would literally purposely let his weight go up. And he would cut weight off, and he knew how to lose his weight. He would do it, probably dehydrate himself and make the weigh-ins and stuff like that and make it look good. But Rulon, one of the rumors I heard is he ended up using plastics. Whether he probably used a garbage bag or something like that, which kind of suffocated his body and forced himself to sweat. And they did it in an unhealthy manner. And I think the show caught on to that. They kind of booted him off the show from some of the little scuttlebutt. Never really asked him about it, but I just kind of let it be. But, I've heard talk to some people about it, and they didn't like the way he was kind of gaming the system a little bit. There's people out there that are legitimately trying to starve themselves, eat the right way, and Rulon's kind of gorging and eating all he wants and then losing the weight because he's a wrestler. I mean, the dude used to cut weight.
I always said that would be the best way to win that show, is like a wrestler should win it. I really honestly thought he was going to win that season too. I mean, like, he should know how to cut weight.
Yeah.
He's an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah,
I got one last MMA question, and
sure.
I just want to talk about GSP and his takedowns. He never really wrestled at all, and people say he may have the best takedown in MMA. With him coming back, what do you think about his wrestling in MMA, and what makes him so good at taking people down?
Man, GSP was a pioneer, for MMA. He took the sport, I call it generation. He took the sport a couple generations. He was that good. I mean, he had the total package. He struck really well. He had great jiu-jitsu, and he had very good takedown, offense and defense. He was one of the probably the I don't want to say the first, but that next generation that took wrestling. You had the Militich camp that took wrestling. I mean, the fighting and wrestling to another level. Training camps. You had Matt Hume out there at AKA and Maurice Smith that combined the striking and grappling and the total package. And you had GSP that took both of those things and everything and took it to another level. GSP really took the sport to another level. And just like we talked about Johnny Hendricks, hey, this is fighting. You're going to get taken down. Well, GSP trained it, and he was the total package. I mean, and it just phenomenal. And to watch him was really that was a true professional right there. And I definitely enjoyed him, and that was probably the heyday of UFC when he was fighting, and he took out Bitch, and he beat, he had some great people that he fought, but in saying that, he's been off so long. It's just really tough to be crisp. I don't care who you are or how good you were. Man, it's really hard to come off of that kind of long layoff and jump in the cage in front of 10, 15, however many thousand are going to be the venue that you're going to be in and have to compete. That adrenaline dump you're going through in the warm-ups and you get in the cage and have to deal with all that stuff, that's just crazy. And when you're not used to it, you can't simulate it. You can work your ass off in the gym, but you cannot simulate fighting when that cage door closed and fighting in a cage. You know what? You could say you can't. And the only way you can do that is fight, get in front of that environment. And you know what? GSP was very, very good, but man, I don't know. I'm not necessarily going against him, but I don't know. Look, how good was Royce Gracie? He got back in there to an elite level trained Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes passed his guard, took his back. So, I mean, you can't take big layoffs. That was our pioneer, and he gave up the one position that you never give up.
It looked like Matt Hughes could have armbarred him, too. It looked like Matt Hughes was being extra nice to him. It looked like Matt Hughes could have armbarred him that time, too, to be honest with you. Break his arm.
Yeah, so, I mean, I hope that's not the case in GSP's situation, but, it may be. But hey, when you're jumping back in, you got to go jump in against the best. That's where the most money is. That's where the biggest storyline is. I just hope the fight goes off, better than what I think it might go. You think
Bisping's going to be able to stop his takedown and mash him up on the field? But I mean, he's going up a weight class too.
That's the other thing. Bisping's been fighting. I don't think Michael's that tough. He's been cherry picking his opponents lately. That's good for him. After he knocks out Rockhold, that's a great fight. But
right.
With Owen Henderson, come on, man. Dan Henderson hasn't been relevant for 4 years. Why the hell would you want to fight that? And you almost lost a fight to boot. Now we're going to fight GSP. GSP hasn't fought and done anything for how many years?
Right.
That.
And he ducked Romero to do it. I would rather fight GSP than Romero. Jesus Christ.
You want to talk about some fast twitch fibers? Elite level wrestler that's figuring it out. That's a guy you do not want to fight. Dolio Romero, man, hey, shoot, that guy is nasty. Well, take your pick, any of those top five. Why? You know what? Bisping's not dumb. He got the title. He fought the fight that he needed to fight. Got the knockout. Got the belt. Now he talks some trash on some of the people that he knows he can beat. Let's cash a few checks until somebody catches on and have to fight an actual real fight, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought he lost to Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
I did too. That should have been a knockout. Holy God. Speaking of knockouts, I don't mean to be rude about this, but what brought you to fight K1? I mean, you were like a world-class wrestler, and you ended up doing some K1 kickboxing.
I didn't follow rules. I didn't follow instructions.
Yeah.
I had a fight. What was it? Pride 29. I can't remember.
Against
I fought Matt
Verdun?
Skelton.
Okay.
No. I can't remember what number it was.
Oh,
when
17.
I fought Matt Skelton.
17. Pride 17.
Oh, now, bloody guy, I've been hitting the head a few times.
I know the
Matt
feeling.
I fought Matt Skelton, and before we went out there, Gary Goodrich was working my corner, and it was in the Tokyo Dome in front of 53,000 people, and warmed up. We're good. I'm ready to go. I mean, that was a gimme fight. That was an easy fight. I mean, it's a boxer. Come on, man. You know, it's like when Couture fought Ray Mercer. Come on, look, you can hype it all day long. That's a box. That dude you touch his leg, he falls down. And that was kind of a gimme fight for me. So I'm getting ready. I'm in the back, in the staging area before, I'm a fight or two out before out. And Gary comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, they want you to stand with them." I'm like, "What?" They asked me to tell you to stand with Matt Skelton. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "They want you to stand with him. They don't want you to take him down." And I'm like, "What? What do you want me to do?" And he goes, "Man, you do what you got to do. You take care of business." And so, I'm not saying they wanted to fix the fight, but you want me to stand with a world-class boxer? Come on now, what's that all about? So I didn't stand with him. What I do, I shot in, I hit him with a bylock, I threw him, put him on his back, and not only did I add insult to injury, I submitted him in a cheesy choke, a rape choke, a little choke to his neck. I was actually trying to push off to create space to punch. He starts choking. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I just squeezed a little harder and he stepped out on it. And, that's an arm bar all day long, right? I mean, if I'm not controlling the hips the right way, he should pop his hips up and extend my arm at least, catch my wrist and try to rotate on me. He didn't do any of that. He just started to... I'm like, "Really? Thank you." And then won the fight. And then, after that, it's just like, I did not follow instructions. Next thing you know, I'm fighting Mike Bernardo. And then I almost screwed him in that one too, because I dropped Bernardo twice. Came out there and Bernardo's got a little, at the time, God rest his soul, he's passed now, but Bernardo right behind that, his right ear or left ear, man, he had a little soft spot, like a little switch, man. You touch him, he goes down. I don't care how hard you hit him. Watch a little tape on him. I dropped him twice, and I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going to win the fight." And lo and behold, if I'd have won that fight, I'd have been in the Grand Prix, which would have scared the crap out of me because I would have never been able to walk. But so I go out there and I'm trying to wail off and finish him, and Bernardo kind of drops me with a sneaky left, and then he drops me, and then he kind of pushes me down. I snap my head on the ground and kind of almost knocks me out just when I hit my head on the canvas, not because he punched me, but. And then it's like, okay, you haven't learned your lesson. I almost beat Bernardo, so let's fight. Then I fought Hiromu Amada in a Bob Sapp event. Then I fought, they ended up sticking me in another K1 fight.
Fought Briggs,
yeah, they
too.
taught me a lesson.
Yeah.
They taught me a lesson because I didn't follow instructions properly. I had to fight K1. They had my contract, and look, they weren't going to let me fight MMA, so I had to fight K1.
They forced you to fight K1 then, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, more or less. If you want to fight in our organization, we owe you X. The only way you can collect X is if you fight this style. You either want to fight or you don't. Doesn't matter to us.
Right. So you're saying because you didn't stand and bang with Matt that they made you fight K1.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yes.
What dicks?
Freaking Japanese people.
I mean, when I won't say they're shady. They treated me really well over there. They treated me really well. You look at fixed fights, whatever. I mean, look at Mark Coleman. He had a second career because he threw a fight with oh my gosh, Big Dog. Inoki.
Yeah.
Inoki.
Takada.
Yep, Takada, Nobuko Takada.
Yeah.
He throws a fight against Takada, and he goes ahead and gets on a roll, gets in the Grand Prix, wins the Grand Prix. He doesn't throw that fight against Takada. What happened? Coleman's an afterthought. Now, look, he can fight, but Coleman doesn't get the opportunity.
Coleman would not admit to that when we had him on, even though he was a little inebriated. He was like, yeah, I just I didn't train. I got stuck in the heel
I
hook.
moved wrong.
Yeah, I moved wrong. He had
And
like
got
5
caught with
excuses.
And got caught in the heel hook.
You know, I don't know if Mark will ever admit to that one either, but that was, you know, when he fought Takada, you know, come on. I mean, you watch that fight, you're like, okay. But, you know, he fought all the other fights after, you know what I mean? So he got kind of back into good graces, and they take care of him. And, you know, I didn't fight the fight that I should have fought, and, you know, look what I ended up fighting. I mean, I got paid, in my opinion. I wasn't a top paid guy, but I got paid a good chunk of money. I was stupid enough. All right, I'll fight. Whatever style you want, I'll fight it.
I'll take
the money. I'll fight it.
Is that a frequent thing that happened in over there in Japan, that they made you do stuff like that, or throw fights, or fight K1 when you didn't really want to?
Well, you know, there was some shady stuff going on over there. I would think people can, you know, without me trying to turn it. Oh, you didn't. There was some rigged fights. I think that was their way of fixing a fight where they had plausible deniability. Look, I didn't tell Tom Erickson to fall down to Matt Skelton.
Right.
No, but you told me to stand up with him. That's the same thing, isn't it? I mean, it's not, but it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you got to stand with him. Well, why would I stand with him? He whooped my ass. I don't want to stand with him. Let me use my best skill. So that was a nice way of maybe influencing a fight without actually influencing a fight.
They say that Dana White wanted guys to stand and bang more than grappling and stuff too. I heard even that he would punish guys if they didn't stand and fight and put on exciting fights. The boring guys that lay and pray, and he'd get them out of there.
I've been in the back, and I've been in fighters meetings. You know, with Dana, I've always been really respectful. Dana's, you know, done well by me. You know, I mean, I don't say done well by me. I mean, I've always been respectful of the organization, even though I've never fought in the UFC. You know, and anytime I've been around, I've cornered fighters in the UFC. I've never mentioned the other organizations I've fought. I've done interviews. I've never, you know, so I've been respectful of the organization and Dana in sense. But, you know, I've been in fighter meetings. He said, look, he'll tell you, look, man, you're here. We're making money. You know, you want to make money. You want to make money in this organization. You better put on a fight. Look, you're here to fight, gentlemen. If you want to sit there and point it out, you know what? That's fine. You have 2-3 fights on your contract. We'll honor those fights, and you will be gone. But if you want to make money in this organization, you will give us a show. You're here to win fights, and you're here to be as exciting as you possibly can. And you know what? I mean, he does not tell anybody to fix a fight, but he's just telling you, you're here to fight or you're not.
Did you run into that with John Fitch?
You know, I've never, I mean, I've been there and heard the instructions, but, you know, John fights a certain way. You know, that's why John is good. And John is disciplined and fights a certain way. He's very methodical at what he does. You know, he's always looking to improve his game and do different things with his game and advance his game. But John's not a flashy fighter. He doesn't have the body for it. He doesn't have the style for it. John's gonna win. You know, he's gotten better in his striking. He always trains his submissions and stuff like that. But John is a grinder. I mean, he's just a grinder fighter. And when you've got several fighters and he's not great in front of the mic, he's very thoughtful and speaks well of himself, but he's not really flamboyant, you know, like Connor and a couple other guys. So when you got a grinder that doesn't speak very well, look, we don't need those in our organization. We already got our fill of those guys. So John didn't fit their mold, so John had to move on.
All right. Well, we'll move on to some happier stuff. I heard Pride used to pay you guys in cash. So did you get like giant suitcases full of cash, or how did that work? Joe Rogan was talking about that with Boss Rutan before. Sounds like there should be some interesting stories.
Yeah, Pride used to take care of fighters. You used to be able to get paid in cash. You know, and then we had to claim it. You know, you had to claim it. You can't, you know, you can only come in the country with $10,000 and stuff like that, and per person, etc. So yeah, you would. Yeah, Pride did well. Yeah, but Pride paid. You know, but some of those guys. You know, I didn't get paid like some of the big-time fighters did and stuff where I didn't have to worry about, you know, money that I was carrying in. But some of those guys, they were getting paid in cash. I'm kind of curious to how they kind of walked in across through inspections and customs with that much cash.
Boss was saying you used to have to give cash to his like friends and family and the people he traveled with just to get on into the country. So there's some danger of losing all your money there. Here, hold this money for me, please, and that'd be gone, you know? Jeez.
Well, I mean, you had your travel party, and I mean, different people had your contract. You said you got X amount of people in your travel party. When you negotiate your price, you get first class tickets. How many first class tickets? How many coach class tickets? How many rooms? How many people that they'd pay over for your travel party, etc. You know, when you went over there. So, look, for the guys that were making some big money, you know, and you know, you could, like I said, you can give up to $10,000 per person. You know, so you got enough people. They're your friends anyway. So they're not just, hey, you meet a guy off the street, hey, you mind carrying 10 G's for me, you know, on yourself to go through customs. And I bet you a lot of people didn't claim that money. I know I claimed some money and had to pay a few taxes and stuff like that. But yeah, Pride was really good about you know, taking care of you in cash.
That's awesome. We had Brad Kohler on, and he talked about some of the Japanese gangsters that were over there running Pride.
Yakuzis?
Yeah, the Yakuza.
Yakuza.
Yeah, and he said that it was easier dealing with them than it was dealing with all the promoters over here in the States. Do you have any experiences with that, or is that anything you talk about without getting killed?
You know what? Yeah, it was more easy. It was easier. It was legitimate. You were dealing with corrupt people, but they were legitimately corrupt, and you got taken care of. You know, even within crime circles, look, when a man is as good as his word. You may be a ruthless SOB, but he's going to be hold to his word, and they took care of it. I remember I got taken care of. I had a fight that a guy backed out or got hurt at the last minute. I got paid. You know, I didn't get paid my purse, etc., but I got paid an amount. They took care of me. And they paid me cash. I don't know, maybe it was $5,000. I don't remember at the time right anymore, but you know, I was paid. You know, and they took care of you. They didn't want any shenanigans. But in saying that, you did what you were told to do. Thus, I didn't follow instructions. Look, they're not going to kill me. I mean, it's not like that. But they're going to teach me a lesson, and I learned a lesson the hard way. You either follow instructions or you don't. And I didn't, and you know what? I got punched in the face quite a few times and kicked in the legs a couple times too for it, and you know, taught me a lesson.
How about the Japanese girls out there? They like the American fighters?
Not my cup of tea, my man. Not my cup of tea. That's not me.
Oh,
you know, even wrestling wise, it just that was something I never, you know what, never did. Now, you know, I got a beautiful wife. She's incredible and stuff like that, and I used to always try to take her over there with me so she could experience the whole fight thing overseas, and you know, she never was able to go with me. But yeah, it's a different thing. You know, if that's what you're looking to do, and the fans, male, female, were incredible over in Japan. They were very respectful. They're very, you know, right there. Whatever needs that you had, they take care of them. If that's what you were looking to do, that's kind of what they do.
Can you talk about Brian Moore a little bit and the Legends of the Cage? Do you have anything to do with him, or are you going to be in his movie?
Brian Moore is a gentleman. He's a good friend of Gary Goodrich. That got connected with Gary. Brian was an incredible fan, big fan of MMA, and he kind of hooked up with Gary Goodrich, and they kind of started an organization called Legends of the Cage. And one of the things the organization does is kind of looks after fighters post-career and stuff like that, try to help people out, try to give people another little turn on the dance floor, so to speak, and try to keep them in the limelight and help out fighters who are in need and things like that, help pay a few bills and things for fighters. They raise money for different organizations and things like that. And Brian has been a big part of that. You know, he kind of came in with Gary Goodrich and kind of opened him in there, and you know, he communicates. He's a great fan, but he's also trying to help fighters and do different things, and not let the old fighters kind of get forgotten, and kind of keep them in there in the circle, so to speak. You know, he kind of works on, you know, try to, you know, legitimize it, unionize the fighting. He kind of works behind the scenes. Doesn't have a big voice in it, but he definitely has a purpose. And Legends of the Cage it's a great organization. I think it's still in the grassroots part of it, but it's only one guy. I mean, this is one guy who just loves MMA and is trying to put this out there and really help out the sport. And am I a part of that? Yes, but not boots in, jumping in, doing everything I can to help them. I just don't have time, you know, in terms of what I'm doing with my college team and things like that. You know, but I do kind of, on a side note, we'll support that and to support the ideals of what they're trying to accomplish. Still not all the way in, but you know what? I definitely support, and I like a lot of things that he's doing in there.
Yeah, he's a great fan of our show. He's been hooking us up with some really great guests like yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
And we're always trying to pump him, too. And he's got a new movie coming out.
No Way Out.
And Ray's trying to get in that movie. He wants to be the bad guy.
Yeah, he mentioned that to me. You know, I'm pretty busy taking care of the things that I take care of and stuff like that. But then again, I have an attitude like I'm from Missouri. You're going to show me. You know, show me a contract, show me some official stuff, I'll jump in with you. But until you show me, I'm doing okay. If I can help you and I have time and I can help you, like he asked me, he dropped me a note, hey, these guys want to do an interview, you be on? I'm like, sure. Let me do, I'll do an interview. Sure, I'll talk some trash. I'll talk some gang, whatever. You know, whatever you guys need. If I got the time to do it, I'll definitely do it. You know, it's not something I'm going to pin my career on. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to transfer over. But, you know, any chance I get to talk about MMA and wrestling and the school I'm at, I'm all for it. That's why at the Division I, I'm on the panel. I'm on a guest panel over there at the Division I tournament. You know, at the Fan Fest, there'll probably be about 5,000-10,000 people kind of going through there through the whole time, and I'll be out there. We'll be on a stage doing some Q&A and talking the same thing like we're doing right now on this interview and this podcast right now. But we'll do it in front of a group of live audience in front of several thousand people live, where they're going to throw a mic to people and ask questions of us.
Oh, shit. That's tough. I do the post-fight commentary for a lot of the fight organizations around here, and sometimes it's tough. You get asked crazy questions at the crazy time, and the guys don't have an answer for it. I hope you're prepped.
Yeah, you know, I try to. I mean, heck, you catch me talking to myself and stuff like that, and you kind of think of where they're going to come from. They're afraid of this. You talk of this and stuff like that. You know, you got to be politically correct. You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't go and do all kinds of interviews, but I don't feel too bad in front of a microphone or camera. You put me in front of a mic or camera, I go ahead and spin a yarn or two.
Oh, you're one of the best guests we've ever had on. There's not going to be much editing at all in this podcast. I'll be able to get this one done in like 15, 20 minutes, no problem.
Yeah, he was great, man.
We had Mark Hall on, and it's going to be like a 16-hour editing thing, and he was talking about like hookers and strippers and duct taping people, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know, so, when you go to Vegas, some things they stay in Vegas. You know, I mean, look, I got a lot of friends in the sport, and a lot of friends, you know, back in the day, we got families now, you know. I mean, that's okay. We'll let a story or two slide out, you know, the PG version, borderline on R, but that's as far as it goes. Come on now, you don't need to get anybody in trouble, myself included.
We're all about getting names and named. Anyways, in your whole career, what have you found most rewarding? Winning yourself in wrestling, winning in MMA, coaching, watching guys win nationals? What's the most rewarding thing to you?
Helping people. You know, I mean, I'm not a big awards guy, plaques and stuff. You come to my house, you know, you wouldn't even know I competed or fought or wrestled. Anything. You come to my house. In my office, I got some Hall of Fame stuff up in my office and stuff. That's what you do. You just get credentials and stuff like that. But, you know, I want to help people. I mean, I shed a tear. I had my kid, my first All-American this year, only the second year, and the first All-American in the program history, but I just felt great for the kid. I mean, Dustin Miller, my 125-pounder, Dustin Miller from Escondido, California, great young man. You know, he put in all the work, and you see him get that, and the emotions and stuff that he had, and I had a part of that. You know, that's a perfect reflection of what I was able to do. Now, I was able to compete and do different things myself, and that was awesome. And you know what? I surpassed anything that I thought I could probably do. But when you actually do something for somebody else and you help somebody else get through that, for me, it's just so much more rewarding, because that means I'm good at what I do and I'm good at transferring that to somebody else. You know, that's like a double dip. You know, it's very rewarding that I was good enough to teach somebody, but he was able to achieve a goal or surpass something that he thought he could do and help him. And, you know, I'm able to do that. That's incredible. That's more uplifting than doing it myself. Not to say that I didn't enjoy knocking some motherfuckers out.
That's awesome, man. I want to thank you for your time. Do you have anything to plug?
No, man. I just, you know, Legends in a Cage. I think, you know, I want to thank Brian for for hooking me up with you guys and stuff like that. And if there's ever anything you guys need from me or whatever, I will conservatively talk a little yang about some people if you want, but it's conservatively. You guys have me out for a while now. You know what you're going to get. So
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to do whatever you guys need in the future.
Hey, I'm thinking about coming back to fight. I might have to come down with you and wrestle.
Yeah, Ray needs some wrestling help pretty bad.
Look, here's the thing, and my guys, kids in my room, they're like, if they want to roll around, we'll roll around. But when you call me out, and you want to wrestle, you take it to a different level because I want to protect myself. You want to come out and challenge me? Look, I'm gonna try to hurt you. I'm going to try to put a beat. You want to come in and roll around? Hey, let's do that. Let's have a good time. Let's just roll around. Let's figure some stuff out. Let's talk some yang. We'll do this. But you want to start getting a little physical? I'm going to try to hurt you. I'll just tell you right now. So don't come over here and jump in my face and say we want to go. You may kick my ass, but you're going to know you were in a fight.
Ray's not going to kick your ass.
Yeah. I'm not going to kick your ass. Trust me on that.
When you're 82, Ray's not going to kick your ass. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck with your recruiting. Congratulations on your program. Oh, also, do you coach a ladies program as well there? I saw that listed in your bio.
Yes, I do. I'm All-American there as well.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome. How big is the women's division?
The women's what was there? There's about 35 women's colleges that wrestle. It's still a growing sport. I mean, women's college wrestling, it's growing. It's probably the fastest growing wrestling in college sport that we have right now. This is opportunities. And what it is, it's mostly NAIA schools and Division III schools that they're trying to use it in enrollment. It's called enrollment driven. So they want to increase their enrollment so they get women's sport. Well, there's women's wrestling is a pretty big deal. There's a lot of numbers. So you're going to give opportunities for women to go to college and earn a scholarship. So wrestling is a pretty big deal in a sense. And with women's wrestling in the Olympics and stuff like that, it's a great conduit for them to go ahead, because you're wrestling freestyle, and go ahead and make an Olympic and world team. So it's used as a great conduit that way. Not only do you help the institution, but women, look, let's be honest, there's not a whole lot. So the odds are better of making a women's team than it is a men's team, just on sheer numbers.
And they wrestle freestyle?
Yes, it's freestyle.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to pass this along to Mustafa McBride. His daughters are killers on the mat. They do jiu-jitsu tournaments, and he's a big wrestling family. They're killers, so you might want to look into the McBrides.
All right, sounds good.
I'll pass some information on to you. They'll probably kick my ass too. All right, thank you.
Getting your ass kicked by a woman is not a bad thing.
No, it never gets old.
There you go.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Erickson. Have a great day. Good luck with your season and all the other nice stuff I can say to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on, man. You have a great day.
All right,
All right,
we'll
you
have
too.
Ray send you this when I have it edited and done, so you get a copy of it.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Sounds good, man. You have my number.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Talk to you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
God damn, that was a good interview, Ray.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
think it was gonna be that great.
Come on, the big cat.
No, I knew it was. He has a lot of good stuff, but I didn't think he'd be as open as he was as he's a head coach at a college.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
talking about the fighting and stuff,
Mhm.
because sometimes they want to pull away from that. That's why I
Right.
went wrestling in the beginning,
Yeah.
just so
He
in case
seemed-
he couldn't talk, we'd get through the wrestling part
Yeah,
of it.
he
at
seemed
least.
like a real cool guy, laid back, and happy to talk to us.
Yeah, I know. Brian Moore must be telling everyone we got thousands of viewers or something instead of like 10. And 8 of them are me clicking on the thing over and over again.
Yeah, Brian Moore is a big help though. He's doing good things with the Legend of the Cage, and helping us out with some of the fighters we could interview.
Yeah, and we're going to say he's an official sponsor of this program. So if you have anything to do with any kind of money, give some to Brian Moore with Legends of the Cage.
They got a GoFundMe account, for they can help out like some of the fighters who got health issues, and
we'll add that to the YouTube when we do it.
Okay.
And then check out Legends of the Cage. And if you don't want to send money far away, if you're local, send money our way, because we are also looking for sponsors, and we'll be more than willing to take your money.
Yeah, if you want to buy me a large pizza from Lenovo's, I'll take that too.
No more food for Ray, unless you're Paula's Donuts, because we would like to be sponsored by Paula's Donuts.
Oh yeah.
So Amir will come back.
We gotta get the high class donuts
Yeah.
from here.
And Ross the boss might come in if we give him some donuts. Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
And I just want to pick on Ray because Ray played video games instead of training the other day.
Yeah. I was playing the new game for the PS4, Ghost Recon.
They should plug us now, too. And
Yeah.
Rockstar. And Starburst. And Gummies.
Yep, and I love Grand Theft Auto too, so Rockstar, pay us that money.
Yeah. Rockstar doesn't make the drink and the game. They're different
No,
companies.
I know it's a different.
Oh,
I know
okay.
that. Gee, you think I'm trying to get her or something?
Maybe Mickey Gaskins.
Nah, Mickey's kind of smart.
Oh, we should have told Erickson about Mickey pooping himself.
Ah, damn.
I bet you he has some X-Lax stories about wrestlers, too, just like Coleman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, we missed that one. Maybe next time.
Yeah. We'll probably get this guy again. He's really good.
Maybe we could talk to him after the wrestling event.
Yeah, yeah.
Fun.
And he said we were like Joe Rogan.
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Caveman.
oh snap.
Yeah.
Me and Ray had like 10 fist bumps in this. Usually we're 1 or 2. We had like 10 this time. It was good.
Yeah.
Good interview.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get out of here, Ray.
All right.
My wife's going to kill me.
Mine, too.
Your wife's going to kill me, too?
She gonna kill me.
Oh. Well, you were talking a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
You shouldn't post bikini pictures either. My wife was like, doesn't his girlfriend read a Facebook? Poor Ashley the Eternal. She said she can't even wear that thing that you made her.
Hey, my craft skills is pretty good.
Don't forget that we're located in Buffalo, New York, out of the Fandoozy Studios when we do the close.
Yep.
All right.
Gotcha.
I'm going to erase that part out so you sound smart when you say it.
All right.
Or maybe I won't.
Yeah,
Depends
cut
how I
it-
feel
cut
when
it
I
out.
edit
Come
it.
on. I wasn't gonna forget that.
You did an open.
I'm tired.
All right, here we go.
Oh God.
Had it turned up for the big cat.
All right, fight fans. We are out of here from the Fandoozy Studios in Buffalo, New York. Peace out. That was a good one.
C-Ray wrestling is the best sport in the world.
Yeah, it is.
You should start wrestling. I thought he was going to kill you. He's like, if you call me out, I'm going to smash you.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, I can't call out Tom Erickson. He'll kick my ass. I'm not that stupid. I just want help. I just need training. My body's sore. Damn you, Caveman.